advisor has said virtually the same thing. Do you agree, here's the question, do you agree with Leader McConnell that Social Security and Medicare are the leading drivers of the deficit and that they have to be reformed, cut back in some way in order to get the deficit under control?
Judy, thanks very much for that question. And let me just say thank you to KSDK and their partners for having us tonight. I want to first start by introducing a special guest I have with me in the audience. My wife, Erin, is here tonight. Thank you, sweetheart. And I want to say to my two little boys, we've got two little guys at home, Elijah, who's 5, and Blaze, who is 3. And they're supposed to be in bed, but I'm kind of guessing that they're with Grandma and Grandpa. So I'm guessing that they're up and probably watching. So I just want to say, boys, we surely love you. To your question, Judy, I do not support cutting Social Security or Medicare. I don't support any changes to those programs for anyone who is currently receiving benefits or who is going to be receiving benefits anytime in the near future. I think it is vital that we protect these programs that Americans have paid into with their hard-earned cash. One of the things that I disagree with Senator McCaskill about is that she voted to cut $716 billion from Medicare in order to pay for Obamacare. I think that was wrong. I think those cuts ought to be restored. And of deficit spending, I would start with Obamacare, going to cost over $2 trillion more over the next decade. It has proven to be outrageously expensive for federal taxpayers, but worse than that, it has proven to be outrageously expensive for the families of Missouri. Healthcare costs in this state are up 145%, premiums are, since 2013. That's between 2013 and 2017, by the way. I've had family after family tell me that they cannot afford their health care premiums, that they're having to get a second job or send a spouse back to work. And that's because of the policies that the Democrat Party and Senator McCaskill have supported. I think it is time that we got health care reform that works for the people of this state, that brings down the deficit, brings down costs, protects people with pre-existing conditions, and also young people on their parents' insurance up to age 26.
Thank you very much. Senator McCaskill.
Well, obviously, the tax cut that Josh Hawley supports. By the way, thanks, everybody. Thanks for having this tonight. I was too excited, got right out of the gate. The tax cut that Josh Hawley supported is part of the problem here. It was supposed to pay for itself. Revenues are down, and wages are stagnant. In fact, wages are 1.8% lower in this country than they were a year ago. That is also Josh Hawley. In his lawsuit, if it is successful, that benefit goes away. And guess who gets a payday? The health insurance companies of $715 billion. So the person who is actually using tax dollars to go to court to not only get rid of every consumer protection in the law that Missourians appreciate, but also removing free prevention programs in Medicare and removing the benefit for the donut hole in Medicare Part D. And the 145% he cites constantly, that is the cost on the exchanges for people who don't qualify for subsidies. It is too high, but it's only 5% of Missouri. We need to fix the problems in Obamacare, not throw it out. And his lawsuit is so reckless because there's no backup here. There's no backup plan for pre-existing conditions if he's successful. If he believes we should protect pre-existing conditions, he should ask tomorrow for the case to be dismissed.
Mike Bush.
Mr. Hawley, just piggybacking off what the senator said, last fall the Treasury Secretary said the tax cut plan would pay for itself and pay down the debt. A year later, as Judy mentioned, the deficit is up 17%. Corporate tax payments are down 31%, and all this with a strong economy. So if you're trying to lower the debt, shouldn't the tax cuts be on the table?
I'm not in favor of raising taxes, and I think that the Democrat Party has been very clear about what they want to do if they regain power. And of course, this seat here in Missouri, this race here in Missouri is going to decide which party controls the Senate, and it's a big choice between the party line liberalism of Senator McCaskill and between what you voted for in 2016. And those are two very different things. The people of this state voted to get taxes down on working families in the middle class. Senator McCaskill had a chance to vote for a middle class tax cut. She voted no. And in fact, she's voted to raise taxes or fees 200 times while she has been in the United States Senate. That is not what the families of our state need. So in order to get the deficit down, by the way, I would point out that the debt and deficit exploded under President Obama. And now I notice the Democrats say that now that there's been a middle-class tax cut, now suddenly they have a problem with it. But I would say this, we've got to get spending under control, and I would start with Obamacare. It has been a giveaway to big insurance and big pharma. Big insurance and big pharma together wrote Obamacare. The insurance companies are getting record profits. They're doing great. You know, and I'm surprised to hear Senator McCaskill say that she's fine with the price increases in this state. You know, the average price increase on the exchange now up to almost $500 a month in premiums. Maybe she can afford that. Most Missouri families cannot. And Missouri family after Missouri family comes to me and says, we are desperate for help. They deserve it. Senator McCaskill hasn't given it to them.
Mr. Hawley, just very quickly to get back to the original question, are you saying that Medicare and Social Security don't need in any way to be reined in?
I am saying, Judy, that I would not support cuts to Medicare or Social Security.
And that they are not drivers of this deficit?
Well, I certainly would not touch them. I mean, I understand that there's quite a bit of spending associated with them, but I think that these are promises that we've made and promises that have to be kept.
The next question goes to Senator McCaskill. Most of the questions.
Should I answer? No, it's every other one. I don't.
No,
answer.
you may comment on what he said. Yes.
Okay, but do I answer? I'm confused about. I just want to make sure I